Good afternoon and welcome to this Wednesday's IPC lesson. Our learning intention this afternoon is to be able to label the parts of a plant and their function, okay, what they do and why they do it. And we're following on this Miss Fluke's opening lesson on Monday. Obviously, we started a new topic, land, sea and sky. And we are going to be looking at a variety of things in the natural world over the next few weeks. This afternoon then, first of all, what I thought I would do is just recap some of the things about plants that we might already know and some things that we possibly don't know about plants. Okay, first of all then, things you should know, roots. Okay, the roots are at the bottom of the plant, aren't they? At the bottom of the stem, and they are the bits that anchor the plant to the ground. So obviously the bigger the plant, the longer and the bigger the roots need to be. So for example, if I'm thinking about a little flower that I might be growing from a seed, then the roots would not be deep or big because the plant itself is quite small. If I'm thinking about the biggest oak tree, then the roots tend to stretch out for a really long way and go very deep because they need to make sure that they keep that plant or the tree upright in all weathers. So even if it's really windy, like it has been over the last couple of weeks, the tree is not going to fall down. The roots also have a different function as well, as I'm sure you'll all remember. They take the nutrients and water from the soil as well. So they help to feed the plant or the tree. Certainly that's where a lot of the water comes from. And it takes the vitamins and minerals from the soil as well. And you can see in the picture there, you've got roots there growing from the bottom of the plant down into the soil. So what about the stem or the tree trunk if you're talking about trees? Well, the stem will help to support the plant and keep it upright. The stem is also a way of taking the water and the nutrients from the soil up through to the head or to the top of the tree, so that it makes sure that every part of the plant gets what it needs. The leaves often are joined to the stem, or on a tree, we're talking about the branches, and they the leaves there catch the sunlight and change sunlight into food, plant food. We call that photosynthesis, which you'll come to probably a bit later on in school life. But the leaves come in all shapes and sizes. The leaves will also attract or catch the sunlight. The leaves will also help to catch moisture when it rains. So the leaves are therefore a bit like the roots. They have more than one function. They are usually green on a plant, certainly in this country. They can be different in different parts of the world. Okay, now I want to start moving into the flower itself. Now you can see a picture here. We're looking at what we call sepals. Okay, now a sepal is something that it's like a little green leaf-like part of the plant, and it goes on the outside of the petals. When the plant is open right up, the sepals will be the green leafy part just below the petals. It's the bit that opens when the flower buds and flowers in the first place. And it helps to support and protect the petals because the petals can be quite delicate. Now we're into the more tricky part of the flower. Now you have two parts of a flower in the middle. One is the male part of the flower and one is the female part of the flower. Okay, now the male part of the flower is called the stamen, and you can see this is what it looks like here. Okay, has like a stalk with a head on the top. Now the top of the stamen is called what we call the anther. Okay, and the stem of the stamen is called the filament. Okay, the anther is full of pollen. This is where this is what will produce the orange powder, the pollen that when bees come in to suck the nectar from the plant, they'll pick up the pollen on their bodies and take it to other flowers to fertilize them. Okay, so it is the male part here that produces in the anther at the top the pollen. Now the female part of the flower is called the carpel. Now the top of the carpel, you can see there's a diagram of it here, is called the stigma. Okay, now the stem of the carpel, so it leads right down, is called the style, and it will connect the stigma at the top to the ovary. Okay, now the ovary is where the eggs are created, which will eventually be turned into seeds. Okay, so the stigma collects pollen from other flowers. So the bumblebees, when they fly into the flower and they've got pollen on their body, it will end up sticking to the stigma, which will then be taken down the style into the ovary. It will fertilize the seeds and produce help or fertilize the eggs and create the seeds ready to create new flowers. So both, it's a little bit different. You don't have male plants and female plants. The flower has both parts in it. Okay, the sort of carpel and the stamen. What about petals, though? I mean, petals are the brightly coloured parts of a flower. They're the things that we really look at in a garden. When we're looking at how beautiful a garden is, it's usually the petals that we see. What are they done? What are they used for? Well, generally they're brightly coloured because they're used to attract the insects, such as the bees. Okay, really important. They're almost like I've heard it described as like a runway for an aeroplane. The bees will see them from up high. They'll swoop down and then go to collect. They'll go to try and drink the nectar, which they want to take back to their nest, but they'll also collect the pollen and take it to other flowers for fertilizing. So these petals, they don't just look bright and colourful for no reason. They're there to attract the bees. Okay, so our independent task this afternoon, I want you to draw a poster of a diagram of a flower. And what I want you to do is to label each part of the flower. And you can use the video, you can wind it back and look at the video if you need it. Okay, and then what I want you to do is once you've written each part, I want you to arrow it so that it's clear what part of the flower you're talking about. And I want you to underline each part to create what we would normally term a subheading. And then finally, underneath each subheading, can you explain what each part of the flower does and why it's important? I will drop a diagram that you could copy or print onto the lesson page on the website. And also, if you want some extra fun and information, there's a video clip here. I'll drop it onto the website as well, so that to act as a live link. And what you could do with this is watch it. It's BBC Bite Size, and it talks about all the different parts of a flower, and it's quite good fun. So if you want to have a look at that, that'd be brilliant. Look forward to seeing your diagrams of your flowers. I'm really looking forward to seeing whether or not you can explain what each part does. Don't forget, rewind the video if you need to, just to remind yourselves as to what each part is and what it does. And of course, if you're in school and at home, you've got access to the internet. If you need to, look it up. Okay? Take care. See you next week. Bye.